Hello, my name is Technical Sergeant Allen, and I'm an MTL at the 316th. Welcome to Airmanship 200. Today we're going to be talking about honor and how it fits into being an airman. Before we get started, we need to discuss what honor is and what the definition is. What does honor mean to you guys?
To me, honor is respect earned through carrying yourself in a manner that is beyond reproach, with integrity, with valor.
Oh, great answer. So for honor, I have adhering to what's right, high moral worth, and great achievement. Those are just a few verbs that you can use when discussing honor, but there's so many words that can come into your point of view and what honor looks like. So now that we have a good understanding of what honor is, we're going to watch a video that was put together by PACE.
When we finished basic training, we felt like we made it through something. We did it. We're done. We made it. You know why they call it basic training? Because that was the easy stuff. We thought we were going to change the world. We thought we'd all live to be heroes. But we learned two things after basic. The world wasn't going to come to us. And just because you put on a uniform doesn't mean you deserve to be a hero. You have to be committed. This wasn't the end of our training. It was the beginning of our new lives. We were airmen now. You hear about the guys who flew the first missions, the men and women who set records, who broke records, who gutted up and did what they had to do. Let me tell you, everybody wants to be one of them. There's a big difference between wanting and doing. You may never be one of them, but you will be an airman. You will serve your country and do your duty every single second of every single day until you separate, die, or retire. And when your moment comes, and there will come a moment, you will change the world. We did. You will be ready. That's what commitment is about in the Air Force. If in that moment you're undecided, you'll fail. You are allowed to make mistakes, but you are not allowed to do halfway. Stay focused. Commitment. Every airman who has worn the uniform, who has fought and lived, or fought and died, is lifting you up. You're one of us, and you will go higher than we ever could. If there ever comes a time when you question your commitment, we want you to remember something. You're not doing this for us. We did this for you. Aim high, airmen.
Wow, that's a great video. I really enjoy it. Every time I watch it, it gives me chills, even if I've seen it 100 times, because I think it does such a great job of explaining what it's like to be in the military and the feelings that it evokes. So speaking of feelings, what feelings do you guys feel like that video evoked for you guys?
For me, I made it feel like that no matter what I do in the Air Force, it is always going to be effectful to everybody else around me.
Absolutely. And what is something that you guys will take out of that video?
I think what hits me the deepest in that is the understanding that whether we are on the front lines or sitting behind a desk, whether we are in training or we're operational, we have the opportunity every day to serve with honor, to hold ourselves to the highest standards.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you guys feel like do you guys see how that video can tie together with honor?
It's important that whenever you talk about honor, you are ensuring that there is commitment behind whatever you are trying to achieve. Because without commitment, there's no true way to actually have that feeling of honor.
Absolutely. So commitment and honor, while they're not the same word, right? If you look them up in the dictionary, they're very different. But it does allow you the opportunity to see how those tie together. And that video does a really great job of showing that. So living honorably or serving honorably, I believe those are interchangeable. How would you guys define those, to live honorably or serve honorably?
I think it's all about holding yourself to the highest standard every moment of every day. It's kind of like how character might be defined as doing the right thing even when you think no one is looking.
Absolutely. So these are a few verbs that come up whenever you look at honorable or serving honorably, or if you're looking in your airman's handbook, what you'll see with living honorably. So you'll see dignity, distinguished, noble, credible, honest and trustworthy. And those really, like I've said before, are just a few words that encompass what honor is. If you are living honorably, a lot of times that will translate directly into serving honorably. They're hand in hand. Because being an airman isn't a 9-to-5 job, it's a 24/7 job. Every second of every day is what the video says, that you are an airman. So even when you take off this uniform, you should be exemplifying the same attitudes and values that you have when you have this uniform on. So when you put on your uniform every day, you should be thinking, am I being credible? Am I being honest? Am I being trustworthy? Are those things that I'm applying to my everyday life at work and off duty? We can't discuss honor without discussing our Medal of Honor recipients. There are so many amazing people that have received this distinguished medal, but there's one member that I really enjoy talking about, that I brief my airmen about regularly, because I think he really shows what it's like, or what it's like to be an airman in the United States Air Force and really put service for self and live honorably. So we're going to talk about the Medal of Honor recipient, Master Sergeant John A. Chapman. I'm going to give you a synopsis of the citation. We're going to leave it up while I read about it, so that way you guys can see all of the things he did. Like I said, this is going to be an abbreviated version that I talk about, but you guys will be able to see the amazing things he did. So he was a Navy SEAL that was doing a reconnaissance mission. During insertion, his helicopter was ambushed by enemy combatants. Sergeant Chapman and his team voluntarily reinserted into the situation to rescue one of his own. Sergeant Chapman engaged his enemy without regard to himself and killed enemy combatants. He was exposed to fire and suffered mortal wounds, which resulted in the ultimate sacrifice. And I really don't give what he did honor. This last line in the citation, if you guys want to read along with me, it says, "By his heroic actions and extraordinary valor, sacrificing his life for the lives of his teammates." I'm sure that anybody who reads this citation can feel nothing but pride for a member like that, who was so willing to go in for his team, do what needed to be done. And we can clearly see that Sergeant Chapman wasn't doing a 9-to-5 job. He was living honorably outside of work. He was living honorably at work. So when things got hectic and chaotic, it was easy for him. He didn't have to think about it. He didn't have to make a decision, because this was a part of who he was. And that's something that when we talk about airmanship, there's so many different categories that go into airmanship, but honor is something that ties right into our core values. Now that we have explained kind of what it looks like to be in a chaotic enemy combatant situation for our Medal of Honor recipient, Sergeant John A. Chapman, let's talk about how you can live honorably day to day. So how do you guys feel like you can live honorably day to day?
So day to day, we're definitely not in a war zone where we can actually give our lives for other people, but we are doing important things that will affect the other lives of people. Whether it just be our job or taking care of the people around us using the wingman concept, it's easy to be honorable knowing that you're taking care of the people around you.
Absolutely. So this is a list of things that come up whenever we talk about living honorably day to day. So going above and beyond, doing the right thing, being honest, like Airman Forte said, helping your wingman, doing the job to the best of your abilities, and exceeding standards. When you go into work every day, you will have trials and tribulations. You will have things that you're not sure about. You'll have bad days. So not to be confused, living honorably doesn't mean that every day you show up you have to be perfect and the very best self you can be. It just means when you show up, you're present and you are doing the best you can in that day. Exceeding expectations, what we mean by that is, I don't come into work and I'm not going to sit down and say, oh, I'm just hanging out and I did my job and now I can go home. It's really looking at the product, looking at the mission, and putting that first. How can we achieve the mission in the best way possible? Airmen that come in brand new to the Air Force, they have such an extraordinary ability to see the mission in a new light and make the processes better and exceed all the expectations that were set for them. We also have the opportunity when we come into work, we say helping out our wingman. That's such a big one. Living honorably isn't about yourself only. It's about everybody around you. It's about having the opportunity to help those around you, to look around and say, hey, I'm really doing great here, but this person isn't. Let me help them. Being honorable at work is a team mentality. and being honorable outside of work, these same values apply. At home, you should be exceeding your own expectations. You should still be looking out for your wingman. You should still be going above and beyond the standards you set for yourself, because in the Air Force, we are the best. We're the best person that we can be all the time. So let's recap what we talked about today. So honor is an integral part of being an airman in the United States Air Force, and it's a huge part of your Air Force heritage. Applying these concepts to your day-to-day life is important to be an outstanding airman. So what we talked about today, all those verbs, all those adjectives we used, I would encourage you to go back and look at them and write a few down, right? Figure out what will apply to you and how you can be honorable and be a better person every single day. So I want to leave you guys with a quote. So it says, "An airman's relentless mindset, bound by your Air Force core values, forged through a culture of pride and professional, inspired by our innovative heritage, and exemplified through actions in defense of our nation." So that was one of the main quotes that they wanted us to talk about when we talk about airmanship, because it really encompasses how we feel and how we should be acting in our day-to-day actions. So thank you for watching. Thank you for learning about honor with us, and I hope you have a great day.